Good morning.
Bonjour.
Okay, good
Inti,
morning.
Chris?
Mux ħażin, thank you. It's
I'm
Friday.
happy it's Friday, even though it doesn't make much of a difference, supposed.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it makes you feel like at least there's
You're
something.
allowed to relax.
Exactly.
It's socially acceptable.
Which is, I guess, the whole point of this program as well. Are we in time to relax yet? So let's get into the headlines of today. So first of all, the rate of infection has dropped to below 1 in Malta, and yesterday we only had one case of COVID-19 registered positive. So we'll give you some more updates on that. We also have a human story about someone who's being made to feel like a leper. In terms of after having COVID-19, so we'll talk a bit about some of the consequences of the virus, some of the social consequences. Another social consequence: 138 weddings have been postponed due to COVID-19 as well. PN, the Nationalist Party, has proposed to give out €50 to each person to help boost the recovery process. And this morning on COVID calls, Finance Minister Edward Cicluna, maybe we'll get his views on the PN's proposal as well. Paula, you want to get going with the
yes, Mela. COVID, we had good news yesterday from Prof. Charmin Gauci. We only had one new case. Biex issa b'kollox pajjiżna għandna 238 każ attiv, 238 active cases of COVID-19. Yesterday we also had another 39 recoveries. Biex bekk għandna R-factor inqas minn zero fl-aħħar peress li l-aħħar ġimgħa n-numru ta' każijiet kienu baxxi. Però donnu il-profs ma tix tortuħu għata meta kull ma tirrapporta każ wieħed biss għaliex il-biża tkun li l-pubbliku jieħu il-numri ta' dik il-ġimgħa bħala fatt illi issa donnu l-COVID qed tonqos pajjiżna u jibdew in-nies jillaxkaw. Fil-fatt dejjem tappella isma' billi għandna ftit każijiet illum il-bieraħ lura ma jfissirx illi wasalna fit-tmiem tal-battalja. U nifhem għaliex tagħmel dawn l-appelli għax jekk hemm toħroġ tixtri ħobża jew toħroġ tmixja bil-kelb tibda tinduna lin-nies fejn qabel kont tara bniedem miexi issa tara 10 fejn qabel kienu jaħbtu tnejn kienu jaqsmu triq biex ma jaħbtux ma' xulxin, issa kulħadd qed jaqaf jgħid kelma ta' find biex tkun tkellimt ma' xi differenti.
It kind of does feel a bit like we're coming to the end of this, no? But in terms of social distancing measures, etc.
Ħażin, ġifieri anke li kieku stess ħadd ispiċċa COVID f'pajjiżna illi mhuwiex il-każ, id-dinja qed diġà tipprepara ruħha illi social distancing ħajibqa' magħna anke wara li anke tinstab vaccine għal COVID għaliex kif format COVID jiffurmaw pandemiji oħrajn bil-mod kif id-dinja format. Jiġifieri rridu noqogħdu attenti. Business is not as usual. Just għax inti rajt każ tnejn tlieta ma jfissirx li inti espert tas-saħħa tiddeċiedi meta tirrilaksja jew le. Noqogħdu naqra attenti, guys, ma jistax ikun. Chris, inti hawn mejjed biex toħroġ biex terġa' jiftlek il-ġim.
Biex noħroġ u mejjed biex nerġgħu nkunu fl-uffiċċju flimkien. I think one of the one thing that I feel is that a lot of the social measures that were imposed by government were in some ways preempted by the public, right? So I think a lot of people had been seeing what was going on in Italy, and when Italy was announcing some measures, Malta kind of adopted them immediately. The schools started to close before the schools were ordered to close. Bars and restaurants started to close before they were ordered to close, shops as well. So I kind of feel that maybe the reverse will happen as well, that the public will start.
Ma naqbilx miegħek. Ħanejlek għaliex, meta beda COVID, il-poplu u l-awtoritajiet tas-saħħa they were on the same page. Kulħadd il-poplu kien imbeżza għax this was unknown, bdejna naraw mijiet ta' mwiet pajjiżi oħra, u l-awtoritajiet tas-saħħa bdew jiggerjaw idaħħlu ir-restrictions. Ġifieri għalhekk qablu u għalhekk wieħed forsi der li segwa lil ieħor, immissa n-nies tibda taqbżilhom ġewwa u għandhom kull raġun għaxina bħalhom, jibdew l-aġenda tagħhom ħadd tmur differenti mill-aġenda tal-awtoritajiet tas-saħħa, ġifieri issa nies jibdew jiġbdu naħar iridu joħorġu u l-awtoritajiet tas-saħħa ħtiġbed in-naħa l-oħra. U issa ħatibda it-tug of war u issa ħanibdew naraw kemm aħna bravi għax mhux inbili kulħadd jgħid il-Maltin proset. kemm xew mal-awtoritajiet tas-saħħa, issa jibda test li nibdew nħossuna konfidenti u bulies u nibdew mmorru kontra l-appelli tagħhom.
And talking about tests, I think one thing that we need to keep in mind is that there are a number of people who seem to be afraid of going to get tested, and that might be having an impact on the numbers that we're registering. So that's important to keep in mind. In fact, yesterday, Lovin Malta had a very interesting story about a COVID survivor who feels that she's being made to feel like a leper. Actually, we spoke to the daughter of someone who's 69 years old and was having trouble, had COVID-19 and recovered, and was having trouble at home, where going out to the garden, to the communal garden, her neighbors were kind of hurling abuse at her and telling her, to stay 10 meters away because, you're going to get everyone infected and the health authority.
Rridux tiġri u tilab man-neputi u ma jmurx il-lara itiru b'xi mod jispiċċa fuq in-naħa tagħhom.
Yeah, and I think it's one, it kind of stands to reason. We've created so much fear. I mean, in many ways, necessary fear, but there's so much awareness about this illness that there is this kind of sense of panic. Also, many survivors or other patients, I don't know if we should call them survivors, but many people who have had the illness don't talk about it or have kept it very, very quiet. I believe there was one person, and he actually featured on our program COVID Calls, who was very comfortable to say, I've beaten the virus and I want to talk about it, etc. And that was really important because without those kind of experiences, it's very easy to create this taboo around the virus, and that creates, as we said before, people being afraid to get tested because they'd rather just recover at home and no one finds out than for them to be kind of marked with this illness. What do you make of?
Jien naħseb da ċirku vizzjuż, ġifieri il-moment li bniedem fl-injoranza tiegħu, alright, għandu dritt jibża minn xi ħadd li forsi għax ma jemminx li fiq kompletament, imma il-moment li bniedem għandu ċertifikat minn awtoritajiet tas-saħħa li fiq għax kieku mhux ħajħdu riskju joħorġu dik it-tip ta' assigurazzjoni. Ġifieri jekk in-nies ħajibqgħu jibbiżgħu min-nies li fieqhom il-COVID jew qari trattawhom qishom għandhom il-pesta kif kien dan ir-rakkont dirili xokjani, iktar ħajkun hemm nies, jiġifieri inti jaf għalax il-neighbor li fiqet mill-COVID qed titratta qisha għandha l-pesta, għandek neighbor oħra illi għalqet ħalqa li qed tħoss is-sintomi mhux ħadd tmur tittestja biex ma tesperjenzax l-istess abbuż li inti qed titfa' fuq dik li fiqet. So iktar ma indumu ma neħu l-istigma fuq il-COVID, jaf għandna każijiet li ma nafux bihom u li minħabba fihom ikollna second u third wave ta' COVID cases. Ġifieri hija każ teduka ruħek fejn għandek toqgħod attent u tibża imma fejn le ma nagħmlux ħajja dan nies infern diġà msieken kellhom jgħaddu minn din l-esperjenza. U servi tajjeb għalik ukoll għax ma jkunx hawn min bil-COVID qed jiġri u ma jmurx jiġi ttestjat. Għandu naqa' moħħna guys.
Our next story is
Iva, ġifieri. Daw qalbi toħroġ għalihom. Ukoll gruppi ieħor ta' nies kellna 138 couples illi ħassru t-tieġ tagħhom minħabba COVID, they rescheduled, ovvjament m'hemmx assigurazzjoni illi jekk daw ir-reschedule jew it-tieġ tagħhom għal awissu ħajsir. Bħalissa naħseb test tal-imħabba vera, jekk tkun xi bniedem temmer fis-sinjali malajr you get cold feet u taħsibha darbtejn. Kieku inti tasalt iżżewweġ imma b'Zoom wedding għax kellna Zoom weddings spike.
Kellna Zoom weddings u kienu vera interessanti, naħseb it's nice to know. I mean, look, I think everyone has had to cancel their big reception, right? And that's the way we do weddings in Malta typically, and that's happening. But some couples are choosing to postpone their reception, but to still get married. You've planned to marry someone on this particular date, do you want to spend another whole year unmarried? I think it's not feasible for a lot of people. So many of them are doing these Zoom weddings and on Facebook Live weddings and things like that. I think it's really sweet. I think it's another thing to keep in mind, even if maybe for the future. I'm sure there are people I'm sure every couple has friends abroad who would love to see a wedding and might not necessarily be able to participate. So maybe it's something we should continue doing for those who can't make the wedding, even maybe our elderly relatives or people who can't.
But would you get married with Zoom and have no reception?
Well, I think if I was dead set on getting married this year, I think I would. Like, I think the idea of postponing by a whole year is a bit crazy. Actually, my sister's meant to be getting married in August, so we still need to see if that wedding is on. But yeah, the wedding's being postponed. What we know as well is that to postpone a wedding, now the fees have been waived. I believe there's a charge of about 25 to 100 euros, and now those fees have been waived by Identity Malta, so that's tiny, glimmer of good news for those couples who are planning to get married.
Love conquers all, jgħidu.
Love conquers all, we'll see. Our next story, I'm sure you have a lot to say about it, Paula.
Taf il-headlines kienu tajt bejt nżomm l-emozzjoni.
So the Nationalist Party yesterday proposed that every citizen should get €50 voucher to spend at restaurants and bars once we can go back to these places and to help boost the recovery. So the PM made this statement. I believe we had a poll about it yesterday. I need to double check the results. But in the meantime, tell us what you made of it, Paula.
Di fakritni fil-proposta elettorali illi n-nies jaħslu jużaw il-washing machine f'nofs tal-lejl biex iħarsu rati inqas. If this is the grand scheme of things, l-aqwa ħaġa li setgħu joħorġu biha l-Partit Nazzjonalista f'da żmien ta' kriżi totali, il-mulej skansana mill-eventwalità li dawn ikunu fil-gvern, because this is crazy. Mela nkun oġġettiva u nipprova nifhem ir-raġunament tal-PN meta ħareġ bil-proposta jsu ħareġ bravura. Għal min COVID ma ffettwatux daqshekk finanzjarjament u għadu jiflaħ joħroġ jiekol, il-mument li jiftħu r-restorants u l-bars daw ħarġew jieklu d-dar, ġifieri qasma ħasħa jmorru d-dar wara x-xogħol u kulħadd ħajżbok għax tant kemm hu mejjed biex imur f'restaurant. Minnaħa l-oħra, jekk din l-inċentiva kienet għal min forsi spiċċa unemployed naqaslu ħafna l-income li kellu, eċetera, u qed jipprova jinċentivah, naħseb dan nies l-aħħar ħaġa għandhom f'moħħhom illi imorru jixorbu f'bar. Ġifieri dar €50 semaj kieku ipproponew illi nirċivuhom ċekk. Ngħid meħba biha €50 kulħadd juru pjaċir. Imma mhux jittik €50 biex mur tonfoqha fil-bar, ġifieri l-gvern suppost irid il-gvern ħallasni biex imur nieħu xarba birra jew nbit. Short-sighted.
So I think there are a couple of other points. First of all, you mentioned the washing machines at night. It's good to know that the proposal that the Labour government gave us instead sees us paying much higher bills than we should.
Imma mhux dak issa, imma għax din sitwazzjoni straordinarja mhux dak iż-żmien.
Where it is, but I think ultimately it's important to see what measures there are going to be to help boost the economy once we're back on track. I believe a similar proposal was made in Italy to this effect, and in fact, according to our poll, the public is quite split 50-50 on this. So 48% actually are in favor and 52% are against. I think your point of it being a check could be a bit of a more open check, because some people might need to spend this on groceries, some people might need to spend it on haircuts in my case, and some people might want to spend it at bars and restaurants. But it is important to keep in mind what hit bars and restaurants have taken, obviously. And I think also it's good to keep in mind that this proposal is estimated to cost about 17 million euros. So we need to see if that's feasible. Actually, bringing us to the next story.
Chris, you mentioned COVID calls. I would love to hear Minister Scicluna's reaction to this proposal.
Yeah, in fact, so
mejta biex nisma' x'ħajjajt fuq għadi.
Come on, naħseb. So the minister is on COVID calls this morning at 11 with me, and he's also going to be joined by a very interesting new face from the MFSA. and also someone from the deputy director of the FIAU. So it's going to be quite an interesting program. Keep watching this space at about 11 a.m. where we'll get to have a bit of an idea of how Malta's keeping up with its deadlines when it comes to brushing up our fight against financial crime. So the Moneyval report that the threat of us being blacklisted or grey listed, and whether COVID has slowed down our efforts on those fronts, or has it actually had not much of an effect. So and yes, we'll also ask the finance minister what he makes of that €50 per person proposal. We'll see. I think that brings us to the end of the program. Paula, hope you had a good week, and
I hope you'll have a good weekend. Lilek u kull min jisegwina.
Thank you very much. Naħseb laqas kellna kummenti dwar l-Ingliż u l-Malti llum.
Wow, for once. Proset, guys.
Proset, whoever watched today, we had a language-free episode. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend and
have a day full of loving.
Day full of loving.